All right, today we're putting on our detective hats. We're going to try and solve one of the biggest mysteries out there, the longevity puzzle. We're going to follow the clues from deep inside our own cells all the way to these incredible communities around the globe, all to figure out the secret to not just a long life, but a long, vibrant, healthy one. So, let's get into it.
Let me just ask you this. What if you could actually live longer and feel younger and more full of life while you're at it? This isn't some science fiction movie plot. This is a real question that scientists are tackling. And you know what? The answers are way more in our control than you might think. So, our first huge clue comes from this famous study on Danish twins. And what they found is kind of mind-blowing. It turns out only about 20% of how long we live is baked into our genes. 20%. That leaves this massive 80% that's all about our lifestyle and our environment. And that is what we're digging into today, because that's the part we can actually do something about. Okay, so to crack this case, we're going to follow 4 key clues that all build on each other. We're going to start small, really small, at the microscopic level, and then we're going to work our way out to the big picture. Let's get started.
So, clue number 1. This one takes us deep, deep inside the human body. We're looking for a powerful, totally natural process that literally keeps our cells young. It's the secret that's been there the whole time, but we're really only just starting to figure out how important it is.
And that secret is a molecule called spermidine. Now, it's a totally natural thing. It's in every single one of our cells. But here's the catch. Our levels of it go down as we get older. You can think of spermidine as the manager of your cell's own internal cleanup crew. Its whole job is to get a really critical maintenance process started.
And that process is called autophagy. Now, it literally means self-eating, which I know sounds pretty dramatic, but trust me, it's a very good thing. Autophagy is basically a spring cleaning service for your cells. It goes around and clears out all the old, damaged, junky parts, recycles them, and keeps the cell running like a well-oiled machine.
So, does all this cellular spring cleaning actually help you live longer? Well, the evidence is pretty stunning. Research from the Tavernakis lab showed that giving spermidine to things like yeast, fruit flies, and worms extended their lifespans like crazy. Up to 4 times longer for yeast. 30% for fruit flies. It's clear this cellular cleanup has a huge effect.
And the researchers themselves explained how it worked. What they saw was that when they gave spermidine to old cells, the inside of those cells started to look just like the inside of young cells. So spermidine wasn't just keeping them alive longer, it was helping them stay youthful and avoid that breakdown that just comes with getting older.
All right, on to our second clue. This one builds right on top of that idea of keeping our cells healthy. And it's a bit of a paradox, really, because it completely challenges this idea that all stress is bad for you. It turns out some stress can actually be your friend.
Think of it like this. On one side, you've got good stress. They call it hormetic stress. This is short-term, manageable stuff, like a tough workout or even fasting for a bit. That kind of stress actually makes your cells tougher and more resilient. But on the other side, you've got toxic stress. That's the chronic, never-ending, overwhelming kind that just grinds you down. That is the stuff that damages our cells and shortens our lives.
And here's exactly why that toxic stress is so dangerous. This wheel shows what scientists call the 9 hallmarks of aging. Basically, these are the 9 core biological reasons our bodies break down over time. And chronic, toxic stress, it acts like an accelerant on every single one of them. It's like pouring gasoline on the fire. It messes with your DNA, it wears down your chromosomes, it causes inflammation. It literally hits the fast-forward button on the aging process.
So the big takeaway from this clue is really, really important. The goal isn't to avoid stress completely. Come on, that's impossible. The trick is to actually seek out those small, good kinds of stress that build you up, while doing everything you can to manage and reduce the chronic, toxic kind that breaks you down. It's all about the dose.
Okay, clue number 3. We've looked at the tiny stuff. Now let's zoom out a bit to the bigger systems in our body. This clue points to something we often just think about in terms of looks or strength, but it turns out it's a powerhouse organ for longevity. Yep. I'm talking about our muscles.
Now this might be one of the most important things we talk about. We're now learning from research that for older adults, how much muscle and strength you have is a way better predictor of how long you'll live than your BMI. It's not about the number on the scale, it's about the quality of your body composition. Something as simple as your grip strength can tell us more about your future health than your weight. It's wild. So this muscle loss that happens as we get older, it's got a name: sarcopenia. And when you see a picture of a healthy young thigh muscle next to an older one, wow, the difference is stark. It's not just smaller, it's filled with fat. And this is not a cosmetic thing. This is a full-blown metabolic crisis that seriously increases the risk of falls, of disability, and of death. It's about staying alive.
So why does this happen? Well, it's basically a perfect storm of biology. Our cellular power plants get less efficient, key hormones drop, we get this low-grade inflammation, our muscles even start resisting the signals to grow, and the nerves that fire them start to disconnect. It's like a multi-front attack on our strength.
So how do we fight back? Well, resistance training is non-negotiable. You got to do it. But the other crucial piece is nutrition, and specifically protein. To fight off sarcopenia, older adults need a lot more protein than you might think, somewhere around 1.2 to 1.5 grams for every kilogram of body weight every day. That gives your body the raw materials it needs to fight back.
Okay, we've found clues in our cells and in our muscles. For the final piece of this puzzle, we are zooming all the way out. We're going to look at entire communities where all of these things we've been talking about just seem to happen naturally, places that are creating incredible longevity.
These places are called the blue zones. They're these little pockets all around the world, places like Ikaria in Greece or Okinawa in Japan, where people are just crushing it. They not only live the longest, but they have the most healthy, active 100-year-olds. So the question is, what can they teach all of us?
Well, researchers studied them and boiled it all down to these 9 shared principles they call the Power 9. And when you look at them, you notice something. They're not running marathons, they just move naturally throughout the day. They have a reason to wake up in the morning, a purpose. They have ways to manage stress, they stop eating when they're mostly full, and maybe most importantly, their lives are just built around deep connections with family and friends.
But here's the real secret, the ultimate aha moment. And researcher Dan Buettner said it perfectly. The people in blue zones don't try to be healthy. They don't have some superhuman willpower. No. They just happen to live in an environment where the healthy choice is the easy choice. It's the default setting for their entire culture. And just like that, the puzzle is solved. You can see how all 4 clues just click together perfectly. First, you support your cell's cleanup crews. Second, you get smart about stress, using the good and ditching the bad. Third, you treat your muscle like the treasure it is, and you build and protect it. And finally, you tie it all together by engineering your own environment to make all those healthy things the easy, automatic choice. If you don't remember anything else from all this, remember these 3 things. Your muscle is a metabolic bank account for your health. Your social connections are a form of medicine that's just as powerful as any drug. And having a purpose, a reason to get out of bed, that's the lifeline that pulls you forward every single day. Look, we can't all just pack up and move to Sardinia. But the real lesson is we don't have to. The question isn't where you live, it's how you live. So the final puzzle isn't for me, it's for you. How can you start today designing your own life, your body, your mind, your surroundings, so that living a long, healthy life isn't a struggle, but just what happens? That's the puzzle for all of us to solve.